Outlaws and
Yaki Kadafi.
he's the notorious ladies' man.
Nah.
Yeah. So, you're here for Tupac's birthday, right?
Yeah, I'm here for the kid's birthday. Got a couple presents, you know what I mean? He on the video set, all about you. All about you video set, I'm chilling. We got Snoop here over there.
Put me in, show me how to sell crack. Crime with Chris down like when Kane gave Pernell that. In the field like a tailback. Pick up the skill, let it shell clap. No, it's busting out the Hellcat. Blood rain, how many of they feel a thug pain? 15 was really in the drug game. My dog died at 16, seen the blood stain. Ain't no love, man. Blood rain, how many of you niggas really?
We are back again, and today we'll be building on Yaki Kadafi of the Outlaws, right? Now this is Tupac's god brother, his little god brother. You know what I mean? When Tupac died, he was 25. When Yaki died, Yaki was 19, right? And Yaki died 2 weeks after Pac. Yaki died 2 weeks after Pac, you know? And, Yaki is not talked about enough because, he wasn't able to really, like, get the shine. But when people talk about the big L's and all the, artists that was, the MCs that came, and they died before they really got a chance to really like blow up. Yaki got to be mentioned in that. A lot of times he's not. And, it's crazy to me because Yaki, when you really listen, I'm an MC, right? But when you really listen to Yaki's lyricism, it's at the top. You know what I mean? Yaki was putting rhyme schemes together and making that word match with that word and the second word match with the other second word. He was doing things that, that got overlooked for some reason. And a lot of people say, oh, that Outlaws is whack. Yaki Kadafi will burn down a whole lot of cats lyrically. That's just a fact. Know what I mean? And the issue was that he didn't really get to blow up, but he was getting ready to. Yaki had everything, you know what I'm saying? Yaki, he had the look. He was tall. You know what I mean? He had the look. He could have sold with the labels, could have looked at him and said, oh, the ladies are like him. You know what I mean? He got the Pac cosign. He got the Tupac cosign. And he nice. And he could do the commercial appeal, and he could go bar for bar lyrically, you know what I mean? And he also have the Black Panther background, socially conscious background like Tupac, because his mother is Tupac's godmother, right? Now he had everything. We talk about potential. Yaki Kadafi had everything. When you listen to some of them Tupac joints with Yaki Kadafi, they go on bar for bar. A lot of them joints, they go on bar for bar. Yaki Kadafi, another thing, he had that voice is not a skill. I always tell people this a lot of times. Voice and delivery is not a skill. It's a matter of taste. Many people would disagree with that, but I don't care. Voice is a matter of taste, right? The rap fan that loves Boosie's voice hates Jay Electronica voice and vice versa, right? But that's not a skill. That's just a matter of taste. Do you like this or do you not like this, right? But Yaki, in my opinion, just my opinion, he had a nice flow and delivery, and he had a nice voice. You know what I mean? For me, other people may say I'm not into the high pitched voice or whatever. But Yaki Kadafi was killing this. Yaki Kadafi, it ain't a cop here to stop me. The streets is black hockey. Come on, man. Hey, Yaki Kadafi, man, overlooked a lot. Out of New Jersey, born in the Bronx, out of New Jersey though. Yaki Kadafi was the one that brought all the Outlaws to Pac. Because at first Pac was down with, Pac was doing the thug life. He had Stretch and he had all them. And then later on, after he got shot, after Pac gets shot and him and Stretch fall out, Pac wants to get down with bring more family around him. And Yaki Kadafi is in New Jersey doing his thing, and he got some guys in New Jersey. Pac sends Yaki Kadafi to go out and find some of his guys and bring them back to Pac. So Pac brought all the Outlaws together, except Idi Amin, who was already running with Pac. You know what I mean? But and even you know what I mean? But yeah, so with that being said, Yaki it plays a pivotal role even in the Outlaws coming together, right? But since he didn't get a chance to like drop a lot of solo music, a lot of solo projects, he didn't get to drop, as far as I know, to drop any official project. I know he got one tape out, but I don't think it's an official project, right? But if he was able to drop that official project, I'm telling you, Yaki was about to blow. You know what I'm saying? He one of them ones where I'm almost looking at him like, yo, this dude was destined to blow. You know, and like I say, riding with Pac. He was one of the Outlaws had a lot of, I feel like they had a lot of good verses. A lot of people hate on the Outlaws for whatever reason, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? But I will say that and some of the Outlaws weren't the best MCs, but they said what they needed to say. You know what I mean? They had a talent in saying what they needed to say poetically, right? But Yaki Kadafi was also an MC. You know what I'm saying? He was an MC that could go with the best of them. I think so. Right? Again, this cat is 17, 18. When he died, he was 19. So Pac is, you know what I mean? Pac is getting him ready. He's getting ready. And it's just unfortunate that, when Pac dies in 96, Yaki's still in the street so much that, he goes back to Jersey. He goes back to Jersey and, you know, um, he ends up getting killed. In the projects, goes back to New Jersey, hanging out in the projects. And gets killed right away, 2 weeks after Pac died. You know what I mean? And it's a testimony, man, how much Pac kept the young guys, how much Pac mattered to the young guys too. Right? Pac mattered. Pac was like that tree. And I think that Yaki felt hopeless once Pac was gone. He felt hopeless and he went back to the projects without Pac. We all know that even though Pac had a lot of fame and Pac had access to money, we know that when Pac died, Pac didn't have a lot of money. So when Pac died, Yaki, what about Yaki? That leave a lot of these cats in limbo. You know what I mean? To really, really shine, because they were shining on that Hail Mary. They were shining all over the All Eyes on Me. So they was getting ready to blow, and when Pac died, it took a lot. It took a big effect on a lot of them. And then another blow was when Yaki got killed 2 weeks later after Pac. It was conspiracies around his death where people was saying things like, man, you know, the feds did it. They hit Pac and then they hit Yaki. Or Yaki was gonna testify, so Yaki was gonna testify, so he got hit. He got hit early. You know what I mean? And he was gonna allegedly point out the shooter of who shot Pac because he was in the car behind him. You know what I'm saying? But he ended up dying. And you know, his mother, Yaki's mom, she wrote books about his death, right? And she's still very, very much pained by his death. As Afeni, when Pac died, Afeni took the death hard. However, she was at peace. She was at peace with it, so she can go on and just accept what it was. Yaki's mom could never really, to this day, she can't get over this. Obviously, losing a baby is hard. You know what I mean? That was her baby boy, and the way it happened, and she was so much potential left on the table. He was only 19. You know what I mean? So uh, again, a lot of people mention all these rappers who, man, this dude, he was nice, he was gonna blow, but then this happened, and a lot of people for some reason leave Yaki out. And I challenge all my followers, all my subscribers to go type in Yaki Kadafi's best verses, right? And you tell me if he not nice like that. You know what I'm saying? Yaki is one of the best. You know what I mean? That didn't never really get the chance to like put out a whole full body of work and get a chance to really like maximize his full potential, because unfortunately, he's another rapper that was gunned down, right? In the projects after Pac died, right? And this is Pac's God baby brother. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to shed some light on Yaki's name, man, because I was, banging that pot, and I hear Yaki, I'm like, man, yo, Yaki, yeah, that nigga he was gonna take off, man. I feel it, I feel like L was gonna blow. L had a chance to blow, but L's issue was sometimes L didn't necessarily have the. If he would have got with Jay Z ended up blowing, he would have been big too. But Yaki had Pac, and Pac was the hottest thing in '96. So that would have ushered. He could have ushered Yaki right on in there. You know what I mean? But he's another one of those guys that we didn't get to see fully bloom. Career wise, because his life was cut short. Senseless violence in the black community that plays our community to this day, right? Plays our community to this day all over the country. It's gun violence, black on black gun violence, black men slaughtering each other, right? Over guns, over money, over disrespect, over pain. You know what I mean? Over nothing, man. Self hate, the art of self hatred. You know what I mean? I want y'all to go check out that song number 2. One day this war must end. One day this war is going to end. My latest project. Go check that out, man. Out, available right now. RP Yaki, RP Pac. On that note, family, we are out. Peace.